Flight 522 crashes in Greece. Helios Airways Flight 522 crashed on August 14, 2005 after a lack of oxygen incapacitated the aircraft's crew members and the plane eventually ran out of fuel.
On the evening of August 13, 2005, a Boeing 737 operated by Helios Airways departed from London Heathrow, heading towards Larnaca, a port city on the south. Things were normal until the crew heard a loud banging sound coming from the right aft service door. Cabin crew noticed that the seal around the door had frozen, indicating that there had been something wrong with the aircraft's pressurization system. The aircraft landed safely in Larnaca at 1:25 a.m. The flight crew documented the issue in the aircraft. They noted, after service door, starboard seal around door froze, and hard bangs are heard during flight. Later on, Captain Hans-Jürgen communicated with the ground engineer Alan Irwin about the problem. Alan Irwin later conducted a visual inspection and pressurization leak check to identify potential faults. To perform the leak while having the aircraft on the ground, they had to pressurize the aircraft manually. The pressurization system on any aircraft, in this case, a Boeing 737, is crucial for maintaining a safe and comfortable cabin pressure. Helios Boeing 737 was manually pressurized to lower altitude conditions to make sure that the passengers and crew have adequate oxygen levels during the flight. This pressure is automatically normalized by the aircraft in mid-air. In order to create the same conditions, a test was conducted on the system. During the ground tests, the pressurization system was set to manual mode. This was done by Alan to test leaks and to ensure the integrity of the cabin's pressure seals without the aircraft's engines running. The inspections revealed no defects, so Alan concluded his inspections and cleared the aircraft for service. Next day, on August 14, 2005, the same Boeing 737 was prepared for its next flight. 2 pilots and 4 cabin crew were there to operate Flight 522 to Prague with a stopover in Athens. The flight plan for that day was to fly northwest over the Mediterranean Sea towards the Greek mainland and descend into Athens for a stopover. In command was 58-year-old Captain Hans-Jürgen Merton, an experienced pilot with a respectable amount of flight hours with the B737. His co-pilot that day was 51-year-old First Officer Pampas Karalambous. 115 passengers were on board that day with 4 cabin crew. The pilots started their pre-flight checks. These included approximately 80 items, 8 of which involved switches on the pressurization panel. One of these items was the pressurization mode selector, which should be set to auto. These checks proceeded as usual, but the crew failed to notice that the pressurization mode selector was still set to manual, which was done by Alan the previous day. With all checks completed, the pilots started the engine. The aircraft took off from Larnaca. As the plane ascended to 12,040 feet, at 12,040 feet, the cabin altitude warning sounds. The crew misinterprets it as a takeoff configuration warning, which only activates on the ground. 9:14:09:20. Pilots report an air conditioning problem to ground control. Captain Merton contacts Helios's operations center, stating the cooling equipment is offline. The ground engineer asks if the pressurization is set to auto, but Merton ignores the question, already showing signs of hypoxia. The aircraft reaches 34,000 feet on autopilot. Hypoxia incapacitates the crew, leaving the plane unmanned. Athens Air Traffic Control, ATC, attempts 19 unsuccessful radio contacts. The aircraft circles Athens in a holding pattern, its autopilot engaged. After a few moments, Greek Air Force scrambles 2 F-16 fighters from Nea Ankialos Air Base to intercept the unresponsive plane. F-16 pilots locate the aircraft. They observe that the co-pilot slumped over the controls, and inside the oxygen masks deployed in the cabin. But there was no signs of terrorism. Flight attendant Andreas Prodromo, using a portable oxygen supply, enters the cockpit. He attempts to regain control, disengages autopilot, and sends 5 Mayday calls, unheard due to incorrect radio frequency. At 11:50, left engine fails from fuel exhaustion. 10 minutes later, right engine fails. The aircraft aggressively starts to lower its altitude understanding. They had nothing left to do. The F-16 pilots flew away from the aircraft at the last moment. The plane crashes near Grammatico, Greece. All 121 on board perish. Helios 522 remains Greece's deadliest aviation disaster. Its lessons reshaped global aviation protocols, ensuring such a ghost flight never recurs. Thanks for watching. If you want more of these content, hit the subscribe button to stay updated. Till then, goodbye.